You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha. Represent Mocha's Cafe de Paris. Just thought that it was imperative that I let everybody know that I am a blogger and I do have two different channels. I go by the name of Lady Mocha, and one of my channels is Mocha's Cafe de Paris, which is my channel specifically for men and women. And I also have a channel specifically just for women where I only talk about topics and issues that relate to women specifically, known as Mocha's Ladies Lounge. So thought it was imperative that I share this particular content. And before I go into the subject, I will warn you that it is going to be a trigger warning video. It's going to be very triggering, especially to women, and specifically those that are single mothers or those that are raising children by themselves. So with that being said, I know I'm going to get ready to step on a lot of toes. I'm going to have women that are going to come for me in the comment section, particularly because we all know that women definitely have an issue when they're being called out on certain things, especially when it comes to things that they know they really don't take accountability for. So I'm all and well and fine with that. However, I will not tolerate any disrespect. So any of these sisters who decide to come in my comment and get reckless and get disrespectful, I will be handing them eviction notices, meaning they will be removed from the comment section. They will not be able to comment on anything. So I don't mind having a difference in opinion, and you may not agree with 100% of what I am saying. However, I'm not going to tolerate the disrespect. So thought I would say that. Next is, if it does not apply, you don't have to reply. I understand all women are not the same. I understand everybody's situation is not the same. If you are confident in who you are, you don't have to come in the comment section defending yourself. Well, all women ain't alike and I'm a great single mom. Look here, don't let one opinion provoke you to get all in your feelings to where you have to leave long 3, 4, 5 paragraph comment explaining your situation and your scenario. I could really care less. If you are confident as a woman in who you are, and you know you've done your best to be a good mother, to be a strong woman in your situation, then by all means don't let somebody else's opinion, even mine, make you feel some type of way. So I wanted to get into this subject because I know a lot of you can relate, particularly the men and some of you women who are involved with men. First off, let me also say I do not have a son on child support. I do not have a husband on child support, okay? I do have a husband, but he's not on child support or anything. So I notice when I speak on subjects like this, women automatically want to think I feel some type of way because I have somebody who I care about that's paying child support. No, but I do have an issue with women who do abuse the system, and women who do abuse the power that the system gives them when it comes to them being the primary or custodial parent of the children. So let me start off with the title of the subject that I am speaking in particular to, and it is called Becoming a Deadbeat to Keep the Peace. So again, just a reminder, this content is triggering. It's a trigger warning because the video goes against a lot of the bitter baby mamas' philosophies, principles, and beliefs, and how they see things from their own bitter, toxic point of view. So a lot of women are not going to agree with this video. They're not going to agree with the concept that I'm getting ready to go into, and that is fine. We all could agree to disagree respectfully. Again, I understand everybody's situation is not the same. Everybody didn't choose to be a single parent. Either the father passed away, or he took it upon himself to make a bad decision, in which he ended up in prison. Some of you probably did go about it the right way. You did get married first, and the marriage did not work out and ended up in a divorce. So And other situations, there are men out there who really are deadbeats, who have neglected their families, who have walked away and wasn't man enough to provide and take care of their families. So there's going to always be exceptions. So if you fall into this alignment, this content is definitely by no means towards you. However, everybody's situation is different. All women are not single mothers because they were irresponsible. Things happen in life. Life happens. So I get it. However, again, I'm not going to tolerate the bitter Brendas, the toxic Trinas, or Shanitas. The Shanitas that come on my comment, talking crazy and greasy. The Shanitas. She need attention. She need to feel off drama. She needs to be heard. I don't deal with Shanitas. I just hand them eviction papers. So anyway, let's get it popping. First of all, I want to start off by saying that there is a difference between a single mother and a baby mama. A baby mama is the mother of your child, but due to her actions, she is no longer worthy of respect. For example, a baby mama is typically an entitled female who abuses the system and is a parental alienator and is typically a narcissist. She would typically use the children as a weapon because she truly believes that they are her property and she owns them. She will date men with intention of replacing the biological father, or she intentionally gets pregnant from men as a source of survival so that she can continue to keep benefiting off of governmental assistance. She can continue to get housing, get SNAP benefits, whatever the government is willing to supplement her with, as long as she has children. Governmental housing as well, whatever governmental assistance that she can gain. Now, single mother, or the mother of the child, on the other hand, is either someone's wife, or just things just didn't work out for whatever reason, but she's a woman that basically does her best to allow the father to have a wholesome relationship with the child. She doesn't intervene in it based off of her own personal feelings or her own motives. She does not use the system to hurt the father or alienate him from having a relationship with the child. She would typically refuse child support in favor of splitting costs. Like, in other words, she does want you to help take care of the child, but she would rather y'all work it out amongst each other. In other words, she's very reasonable. She would never use the phrase my child in favor of our child. If she does date other men, she would never tell the children to call that person their dad. And they're not always looking for a man to replace the biological father because they want to spitefully hurt the biological father. She makes sure that her children know that their real father cannot be replaced. So there's a difference. So first of all, we're going to go into why men are abandoning children and they are taking the high road and walking away. Now, when we hear the word deadbeat, first of all, deadbeat is a word that a lot of women are using, not so much because the father does not really be truly involved in the child's life. Now, in most cases, in some cases, there are some deadbeats out there, and I will stress that. There are some deadbeats who really don't give a rat's ass about their kids, have nothing to do with them, do not check on them, do not call them, don't send their money, do not financially provide. There are deadbeats, but for every deadbeat father, there are some deadbeat mothers who get the child support, who get the income, who get the money, but they don't prioritize. That child does not benefit from the child support because she's getting her nails done, she's getting her hair done, she's buying sectional sofas, 70-inch flat screens, going to Chinese buffet, going to Rainbows, going to City Trends, going to the mall, going to the pawn shop, going to the club. Ladies get in free before 10 o'clock. She's doing everything else but making sure the child support is actually supporting the child. But going further into this is that you have a lot of men who have just got to a broken place in which they are giving up. Not so much on the child, but they are giving up on having to deal with the mother whom they had that child from. So, like I said, for every deadbeat ass baby daddy, there's a deadbeat ass baby mama who really don't handle her business. So we can both say they both go hand in hand. But men are reaching a place in which they cannot deal with the toxicness. They cannot deal with the mother using the child as a meal ticket. They cannot deal with the mother of the child, the baby mama, making the rules as she goes because things ain't going right in her life. If she's having a bad moment or things are not going well in her relationship, she takes it out on the father of the child, especially if he seems to appear to be in a better place than her. He's financially doing better, has a nice house, has nice cars, he's remarried or in a relationship, has a new fiance, whatever the case is. In other words, most of the time when a man is doing really well, he's progressing, he's succeeding, that is the more animosity and hatred the bitter baby mama builds up towards him. And instead of her self-reflecting and realizing that she too could also be successful if she didn't focus so much on what her baby daddy has and what he doesn't have, how much money he has, what car he drives, what house he lives in, what type of woman he's married to or in a relationship with, she could have just as much, if not more, because truth be told, women, we have way more opportunities than men. Men have to go out here and get everything raw from scratch. They don't get child support. They don't give governmental assistance. Very rarely do they do. So men don't have it easy. They have to go out here raw, in the raw, no condom, and get it on their own. Women, on the other hand, there's no need for us to be in a struggle. There's no need for us to be hating on our baby daddies because there's too many opportunities that are granted to us. We are the ones that can get governmental assistance. We're the ones that can get governmental housing. We're the ones that can get food stamps. We're the ones that can get everything. The government basically lays out the red carpet for a lot of these trifling ass women. And they don't know how to use it to their advantage. They know how to use it, but they don't know how to build off of it and better themselves off of it. Nothing is wrong with getting assistance, but when you make it a crutch, you intentionally getting pregnant by multiple men so you can keep having the government as your source of income versus using that income so you can go to college, you can start a business, you can get you a job, something legitimate. No, you want to use governmental assistance as your final resting place. That's where you want to live off of for the rest of your life. And yet they get mad with men who get no government assistance, who got to do everything from scratch because he has a nice house, has a nice car, has a pretty wife and or fiance, and he's just successful. They cannot stand it. They hate that. So we're going to go into the elements and the dynamics that is causing a lot of these women to become so bitter. And I'm going to also break down why men are walking away and are choosing to accept being a deadbeat so they can keep their peace. First of all, we have to realize that a lot of us as women, we have made very poor decisions because most of the decisions we make are based off of emotions, feelings. As a woman, if you can really do some self-reflection and really look back at your life, look at things in the past, a lot of the decisions you made was based on how you felt, your feelings. A lot of the decisions that women make are not based off of logics. It's based off of emotions, okay? So the problem is a lot of women have made many bad choices because of the men they chose to breed their seed with. Feelings have placed a lot of women in messed up predicaments. You had a child because you feel you really want to be with this man, even though he's showing you he's not boyfriend material, he's not husband material. You had a child because you feel like struggling. You feel like you're struggling. You don't want to get a job. You don't want to better yourself. So you intentionally had this child based off of feelings. Or if not that, they also have children, which I like to call trap babies, entrapment babies, because you feel this man is going to leave you. You feel he wants to still stay with his wife. You feel if you don't have a child from him, that gives him that advantage to walk away. and you feel like, once you have a child from him, now y'all are joined together. There's no way he can leave you now, or he'll always have to be a part of your life, which is true. He will always be a part of your life, but he will be a part of your life because of the child, not because of you. Meaning you're going to have to deal with the fact you got a child from this man, but he's going to be with other women. He may possibly remarry. He may possibly have more children from other women down the line. So you having a child is not going to help you to secure the man. It's not going to help you to seal the deal. But you have a lot of women who believe this. Basically, there's far too many women that are playing rush and roulette with their wombs. They are taking a gamble, hoping that it works out in their favor. And when it does not work out in their favor, they become hostile towards all men, specifically the father of their child, who they chose by considering him as a deadbeat, because he does not want to participate, not with the child, but participate with her disrespecting him, doing everything maliciously she can to prevent him from having a healthy, wholesome relationship with his child. And this is the reason why a lot of these men are walking away, and they are opting to become a deadbeat just to keep the peace. A lot of you may not understand, if you're not on the other end, how disrespectful a lot of these women are, how nasty and foul at the mouth a lot of these women are, how harsh they are with their words, how low they can go to try to belittle a man, and really do and say everything she can to really test his gangster. Anything to try to provoke him to where he becomes so angry and in a rage, feeling defeated, not being able to have a relationship with his child, in which he can possibly end up going to prison, actually end up going to jail. So for many men who have encountered these type of situations in which the mother, the bitter baby mama has antagonized him, disrespect his household, disrespect his marriage, a lot of men are saying, you know what, I'm done. I'd rather be a deadbeat than to keep the peace. I will deal with my child when my child gets old enough to where I can talk to him or her and have a relationship with them without her intervening. A lot of men have just decided to hang up the towel and say, I will deal with my child when he or she is no longer under their mother's authority and household. And if that's what it takes to keep the peace, you have to do what you have to do. Now, the bad part about it is men who have chosen to walk away versus going to prison or jail, trying to handle it in an adult manner. This is when the women become vindictive and toss around the word deadbeat, like it's Texas Pete hot sauce at a black folks cookout. They love to toss the word around because truth be told is a lot of these women they absolutely love, they get aroused off of the power of being able to deny a man from being able to spend time with his child, because they get such a thrill and they get their rocks off doing so. That man reaches a breaking place in which he realizes, you know what, I'm not going to win. No matter how much I cooperate, I try to be humble, I try to comply, I deal with the disrespect. She gets angry with him and calls him a deadbeat because he has made the decision that I am no longer going to allow this woman to dictate me, to make my life miserable, just so I can call my child and see how they doing, just so I can pick my child up on the weekend and take them back with me. They come to a broken place in which they realize, you know what, I'm not going to have any peace by doing this and having to deal with her to deal with my child. I'm just going to have to take an L and walk away. I know my child may resent me later. I know my child may think I don't love him or her. But at this point in time, what good am I going to be if I get so angry where I end up putting my hands on this woman and I end up in prison? or I end up in jail. You know, I lose my freedom, I lose my job. So just like women got feelings, men have feelings too. And along with that, they have pride. They're not going to sit up there and continue to keep letting their baby mama disrespect them and handle them like their little boys just so they can have a relationship with their child. So what's going on is when men choose peace, you know, over drama, these women want to manipulate these bitter baby mamas. If it doesn't apply, you don't have to reply. The bitter baby mamas will say, he's a deadbeat. He don't care about his child. He don't love his child. He wants nothing to do with his child. He just, how dare a man call himself a man and he walks away from his kids. He walks away from his child. He never calls his child. He never comes to see his child. He doesn't come up to the birthday parties. He doesn't go to any of the sports events because you are drama. You nasty. You fall out the mouth. Every time this man comes around, you try to cause a scene because at the end of the day, it's about you. Why is it the man should only be about the child when you're not about the child? You make it about you, okay? You make it about you because when this man shows up to sports events, when this man shows up to birthday parties, here you are with the stank face. You can't even be cordial. You can't even have the decency to be a woman just for that moment so your child could enjoy their birthday. You looking at him, looking at his wife with the side eye, looking at his fiance with the side eye. Some of you have the audacity, you don't even want the fiance to come around. You don't even want the wife to come around. How do you tell a married man, even though he's the father of your child, you can come, but she can't? The audacity. But as soon as you get a man, you get you a poverty pookie who does not have a job, who sits on the passenger side of your ride, not even offering to put gas in your car. You invite him to all of your child's events, and he is nowhere stepfather material. But if your baby father who wants to be active, who wants to participate, he comes around, you got all kind of rules and restrictions that make no sense. What do you mean he can't bring his people? That's their niece, nephew. That is his wife's stepson, stepdaughter. Your child is your baby daddy's wife, stepson, and stepdaughter. Regardless if you like them or not. They're the step parent of your child. You want to cause a scene. Some of these bitter baby mamas, they use every opportunity to cause a scene, which is why some of these men are choosing becoming a deadbeat to keep the peace. Because it's too much, even down to simple things. You got some women so complicated. Even when a man tries to plan a birthday party, well, I think I'm going to go with the Spider-Man theme. Spider-Man, why got to be Spider-Man? He don't even like Spider-Man. Okay, well, all right. Well, you can choose the theme. Well, I'm gonna just go ahead and get the cake. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get a vanilla cake. Vanilla. He don't even like vanilla. He like chocolate. Just simple things she makes unbearable. Imagine being a man and every time you call your baby mama, you have to take a deep breath because you just know it's going to be a shitstorm every time you call. Even the tone of her voice. Yeah. Not even a good morning. How you doing? Her whole energy is nasty. He can't even call to have a basic conversation. And like I said, it's gotten to the point to where it has become unbearable. Some of these baby moms have become so vindictive. Do you not know? Listen. And some of y'all may have somebody in this situation. Do you not know they want the baby father to pay to see the child, even if he's paying child support or not? You have men who have to negotiate with the mother of their children by giving her some money to see their own child. Women are doing this now. If you want to see little Pookie or little Ray Ray, you need to front me some gas money. I need a light bill paid. I need a water bill paid. Women are doing a lot of, not women, because real women don't move in this manner. You have a lot of females that are doing this now. A man has to pay a deposit or a fee to see his own child. This is where we are now. If not that, you have a lot of some of these women also who are going so far as to, they are pretty much leaving the majority of the baggage on the father to deal with. For instance, you have some women, when they drop their kids off, they don't make sure their kids have clean clothes, socks, shoes. She literally drops them off in whatever they are wearing, because in her mind, he got money. If the kids need clothes, they can buy it. If the kids need shoes, he can buy it. I've known women who intentionally would drop their children off raggedy with old shoes, old clothes, just so the father would have to buy more clothes and shoes on top of the child support he's already paying. The truth is, a lot of these women are more angry with themselves because they wrote a check they couldn't afford the cash. As the saying goes, you play stupid games, you end up with stupid prizes. A lot of these women who go around here creating these trap babies, and that's exactly what I call them, trap babies, because you thought having this baby was going to make him be your man, was going to make him marry you, was going to make him wife you, only to find out he has had a child from you, and he does not want any of those things with you. So you take it out on him, and in a sense you take it out on the child. So a lot of these women are angry with the choices they made, and they are angry with the fact the plan they tried to execute, it failed. The motive they had, it failed. So what they are doing is they're taking it out on the father of their children by calling him the deadbeat, which means technically that he's a failure. But the truth is, she has failed herself, and she knows it. But it's easy to gaslight, and it's easy to point the fingers and say he's a failure, he's a loser, because in actuality she feels that she's the failure and she's the loser. But what better way not to own that accountability, because we know the black community is allergic to accountability. What better way to not feel you failed yourself than a reverse psychological reverse and make yourself believe he failed you? No, sis, you failed yourself. That's who you chose. You thought having this baby was going to get you to have whatever you thought you was going to have, and you didn't get it. So you're angry. You're mad. You hate the world. And you take it out on the father by calling him a deadbeat. Truth is, a lot of y'all knew what it was. Y'all knew it was a cut friend thing, friends with benefits. You knew it was a one-night stand. Some of y'all even knew the man was married, knew the man had a relationship, was with somebody. You took a gamble. It's a lot of women who take a gamble with their wombs. They take a gamble, play games, play mind games, use the system, get the benefits. But the system may give you the benefits, but that don't mean you're going to get the man. And a lot of y'all are angry about that. You're angry when these men move on and they're happy. They got more children from their wives, their fiance, or they're doing well, they're progressing. And yes, we know there's some bitter baby daddies too, but we're not talking about that, because going to be a Shanita in the comment section that wants to digress and change the subject. We're on one subject. And another issue is, a lot of these women are so angry, they are willing to let their children suffer just to prove a point. I know fathers who are in a better position than the mother. They can grant the child so much more than what the child support system is granting, other than monthly payments. They can take that child in their home, actually set that child up with a better life, but because she can't have that life herself with that father, she is willing to deprive that child of a better life. I know men who can get their children, get full custody, take care of their kids and do a better job. They live in a nicer neighborhood. They're more financially stable. They have a more healthier household setting. And meanwhile, she's struggling. She lives in the neighborhoods where it's gang affiliated, where it's poverty stricken. She would rather her child live and stay with her and be deprived of a better opportunity just so she can torment the father of that child. There's women who know their children are better off with the father, who know their children will have so much more if she would just allow that man to have more rights. But because she's so angry and miserable with herself, miserable with her life, miserable with a situation, miserable because she can't find another man to be her pimp sponsor or whatever, she will intentionally neglect her baby, her son, her daughter of a better life. Because as the saying goes, misery likes company. I don't believe in that saying. I believe in misery just doesn't like to be alone. I know mothers who know they need help bad. They know their son, their daughter is out of control. The schools are calling them every day. The principal, the teachers, can you please do something with little Pookie, with little Nene? You know the child is off the chain. You know the child needs structure. You know you can't handle the child anymore. You know that being a parent has become too overwhelming. You would rather let that child continue to keep getting out of hand, continue to keep getting in trouble. You'd rather let the child suffer than let the child go be with the father. It comes a point when, as a mother, you have to make the ultimate sacrifice, especially when you know he's a good dad and he's handling his business. He is well off. It comes a point when you have to sacrifice and be the bigger person and say, you know what, as much as I could use this extra child support, it's not worth seeing my son and daughter constantly get into trouble. You know you can't do nothing with your child. You know your child respects the father, listens to the father more than you. You got to cuss the child out, slap the child in the back of the head, and do all this extreme stuff to get disciplined, when in actuality, all you had to do was let the child go be with the father. And the sad part is, it's a lot of children that are going to miss out on a blessing over their mother's bitterness, because she don't want to let go. She feel like she's doing the father a favor and not realizing that she's doing herself a favor as well by allowing that child to have something she probably didn't even get as a child growing up. It's sad, but you have a lot of these bitter baby mamas. They jealous of their own children. They jealous that their kids could live in a nice home with their father. They jealous that their kids could ride in a nice car with their fathers and the father's wife or fiance. They hate that, especially when they struggling, especially when they can't even get up on their feet. It's sad. You have a lot of children that are going to miss out on a blessing because their mama is so ignorant, ghetto, ratchet. And that's one thing about a miserable woman. A miserable woman has a very huge influence over how the temperature of her household. If a woman is mad or a woman is grouchy, everybody who is underneath her, who depends on her, they are going to suffer. A lot of women out here are so miserable because they put extra baggage and burdens and responsibilities on themselves that they really can't afford. That's really too much. When you intentionally go around here getting knocked up by multiple men and realizing that the child support is not enough, you really need, spiritual support. You need emotional support. Anybody could get peanuts, but getting a provider and actually getting someone to commit to you, that's a whole nother story within itself. And that is the problem. A lot of women have demoted themselves to just being baby mamas. But when they realize it's too much and it's too overwhelming, now they're looking for a captain save them. They're looking for a man who's going to come in their life, rescue them, take care of her and all her 4 or 5 kids with different last names, or all of them have her last name or whatever. And they miss out. Not only that, a lot of these women don't realize when you have multiple baby daddies, it makes your life more complicated and makes your life more difficult, because you got to realize all of these men have different personalities. All of these different men have different upbringing. So if little JoJo, his daddy is coming over and picking him up because his morals are different, he believes in spending time with his son or whatever, and your other baby daddy does not have nothing to do with Lil Ray Ray, how you think Lil Ray Ray is going to feel when little JoJo daddy is always coming over to see him? This is what a lot of women don't think about. Getting knocked up by all these different men. All men are not fathers. You got some men that are sperm donors, and you have some men that are fathers. So you take a chance having multiple children for multiple different men, because your other children are going to see their siblings getting things that they're not getting. And that's going to mess up their self-esteem and their dignity. So basically, digressing, because I know I've been all over the place, men are choosing to become a deadbeat to keep the peace, because some of these women, they're just too nasty. They're too difficult and complicated. If not that, they letting their mama get in their head, who's also a drama queen. They letting their new poverty pookie man get in their head. You need to get more child support. You need to do so and so, because he don't want to be a man and get a job and help her out. He wants to coerce her and to get more child support from her baby daddy. And you have some of these women, they gullible enough and dumb enough to let a no good pookie who lives off of them and they Section 8 apartment tell them what they need to do with their baby daddies, and they not even putting gas in their car. They're not even putting $50 towards the internet bill. You have some of these baby mamas, this is how they live. They have all kind of men living with them, and the father of their children, they can't do nothing about it, because at the end of the day, it's her life. But these women having all type of different men staying and moving in and out of their place. Some of these men may be registered sex offenders. Some of these men may have records, and they don't care. They allow these random men to move in their apartments with them, Section 8 apartments, or low income subsidizing housing. They move these men in with them, don't know them from a can of paint, don't know if the man got a record, don't know if the man carries a spirit of perversion, but she wants to move a man in because she wants to prove a point to her baby daddy that she got somebody, she got her a man. And she didn't even take the necessary steps to reevaluate him and to look into what type of dude he was before she moved him in. This is why men are choosing deadbeat over peace. They cannot continuously keep arguing and getting into conflict with these women every time they call about their children or they want to see their children. Some of these women are flat out nasty. They want to argue every time they encounter their baby daddy. They want to cuss him out, call him everything but the child of God, and ain't no grown man gonna stand there and tolerate being disrespected. If the baby mama's not disrespecting him, she's disrespecting his wife. She's disrespecting his girlfriend. Ain't no real man gonna sit up there and let his baby mama disrespect his girlfriend. But you know what the manipulative baby mama say? Oh, you done chose another woman over your child. You put another woman before your child. Yes, that's his wife. His wife comes first. And furthermore, when you cause problems for him, he has to live with that. He has to go home and answer to that wife. Nobody wants to have to go home to hell with his wife in his ear, his fiance in his ear. You letting her disrespect me? You letting her talk to us all kind of way? No. A man, in many cases, especially these days, he has to choose being a deadbeat over peace. Because it's too much. And then social media has made it worse. You have grown women who go on social media and put their whole diary, air all their dirty laundry out there about how no good their baby daddy is. And they're not realizing people are looking at you like, okay, you're talking about how bad he is, but that's who you chose. That's who you had a child from. So what is wrong with your mental? And that's what these bitter baby mamas will do. You know, they will get up here, and social media, like I said, has made it worse. Facebook, Twitter. They don't know how to deal with their emotions without having to put everything on public display. It's not everybody's business to know your baby daddy ain't ish, he garbage or whatever. That's who you chose. So if he's not garbage, if he's garbage or whatever, keep in mind that's the garbage you picked. You the one who picked him up off the curb. Another thing also that I failed to mention that I think is also an important point. A lot of men are also choosing to become a deadbeat over peace, because not only is the baby mama evil, but the children have become evil. It's bad enough she is already taking leadership as far as, being disrespectful towards the father, not respecting his position as a father, as a man. She also teaches her children that it's acceptable. I'm seeing many women do this, and they do this because it's not satisfactory enough for them to be the only ones to have anger and resentment towards the father. They want a hating team. They want to recruit other haters. And what better way to destroy a man than to make sure his very own child despises him and hates him as well. And women understand that men have a very soft spot when it comes to their children. We're talking about the active fathers. I have nothing to do with the ones that were Pookie that you met at the club, who you let smash, and you let him smash and dash, and you didn't use that plan B. I can't speak on that behalf. However, but a lot of women know this, and they use it to their advantage. They are aware that the man loves the child and not loves her. He doesn't love her, but he loves the child. So what better way to destroy a man than to make the very thing he loves hate him? And she knows that. And children are very innocent to this. And I want the fathers to understand. You have to understand, children value their mothers. Doesn't matter if the mother is a crackhead, a dope fiend, she's on meth. Children love their mothers. It's by nature. They're not going to understand how evil and vindictive they are until A, they get older. 2, he becomes a father himself and ends up, having an evil ass baby mama like his own mother. Then he'll probably be able to understand. Same thing with daughters. As children become older and their mothers' ways don't change, what tends to happen in many instances is that the mother at some point in time starts treating the child like she treats the father she hates. I've seen this happen, in which the baby mama ends up disrespecting the children who she taught to disrespect their dad. And what ends up happening in cases like this, as this child really starts catching on that his mother or her mother never had her best interest, then they start to kind of see where the father is coming from. Or either the child will stay just as angry and hostile towards the father as the mother does. But what ends up happening in this case is that the child and the mother eventually starts bumping heads. They start to bump heads. I've seen many cases in which women have gone for years teaching their child how to hate the father and to disrespect the father, only for that child to end up hating and disrespecting them. It happens all the time. Or if it doesn't, the child just loses out on having an awesome relationship with a father who eventually is going to pass away, who's going to have to leave his inheritance to someone, pass down his business, his legacy, or whatever he has. That child misses out on that because the mother has implanted her seed of hate inside that child, to where the father looks at the child the same way he looks at the mama. 50 Cent, prime example. Marquise cannot have a relationship with his father 50 Cent because Marquise has adopted his mother's feminine emotions. Getting online, dragging his father, ranting and raving. That's something that women do. So his son has already adopted his mother's feminine emotions by dealing with his anger in the way a woman does by going to social media. That's what women do. We rant, we rave on social media. So it's unfortunate a lot of these, young men end up with hyper masculinity. They don't know how to deal with their emotions because they've always been under the care of a woman, which is their mother, who never allowed them to really have a relationship with the father. The father would have helped to balance out his traits, where he wouldn't be so feminine. He wouldn't be screaming and yelling and getting so overly emotional. It's important to have fathers, especially in your son's life, daughters too, but especially in your son's life, because you don't want your son picking up all of your feminine characteristics. And I don't mean that's in a sense in he's going to become, part of the alphabet committee, but he's going to pretty much adopt all of your feminine ways, mood swing, emotional, and that's dangerous for a man, because young men out here have to go out in the world where there's a lot of violence. They are up against a lot as black men. So the last thing they need is to have any feminine emotions. They don't need that. You let a feminine emotional black male get a hold of a gun, get in a hostile situation. All of his hyper masculine traits are going to accelerate at an all-time high, because there was not a man in his life to help balance him out, to show him how to have restraint, to show him how to keep his composure. That is something only a man can pretty much guide another young man into being able to have. The truth is, as women, we just cannot do it all. We can't do everything. Or you have other women, on the other hand, who they just want to leave all the burden on a man to deal with. Yes, there are some deadbeat mothers. They want absolutely nothing to really do with their children. They only had the child for their own personal gain, and the gain that they had that child from, it didn't work out. So they leave the child on the father that have to basically, hold the whole bag of the responsibility on his own. So you do have some mothers who do that. You do have some mothers who also walk away. And in cases like that, yes, you have to keep the peace. She cannot come back and forth when she chooses, or she wants to pop up, as unexpected visitor, thinking she can just, run and regulate things, especially when the father has been the one who has had the child the majority of the time. But I'm going to get ready to wrap it up, but I think it's imperative that men understand that sometimes you have to become a deadbeat to keep the peace. You're not going to make everybody happy. You cannot win a bitter, vindictive, malicious, hating woman over. You can't reason with a bitter baby mama. There's just, it's no way. You can't. No matter what you do, she's going to try to discredit it. She's going to try to make it complicated. She's going to make it unbearable. The quicker you get this through your thick skull, the more happier you will be. A lot of you men are miserable because you're trying to bargain with the devil. You cannot negotiate with the devil. You cannot come up with an agreement with Lucifer's sister. You just cannot do it. But these women will manipulate you and call you a deadbeat, which really means you won't let me make your life miserable. I want to make your life miserable so you can have your relationship with the child, but I want to give you hell. I want to make your life complicated, because why? My life is complicated. A woman who's truly at peace with herself, she is not going to go above and beyond and use all of her energy into making the father of her child's life miserable. Because she's on her grown woman shit. She got more important things to do. She's trying to start a business. She's trying to, get her children enrolled in college. She's happy. But a miserable ass woman is going to make everybody miserable around her. So anyway, y'all, again, I do have my own channel. If I don't post this on YouTube, but I'm sure I will. Mocha's Cafe de Paris. And for you ladies who took it personal, you didn't really like the content that I had today because you felt like I was going in too strongly, rest assured I have a channel specifically for you ladies, where I do go in on the men and I deal with the men, and that channel is Mocha's Ladies Lounge. But definitely leave y'all comment below. Let me know what y'all think about this. Do y'all think men are intentionally becoming a deadbeat, or at this point they just have to do what it takes to keep the peace? I don't blame any of you guys who have had to walk away from being a father, and I'm sure it probably hurt you to your soul and to your spirit, but at the same time, you couldn't take the disrespect. You couldn't take the being handled all kind of way. You couldn't handle being jerked around. You could get them this weekend, but then when you call another weekend, no, you can't get them. You got to only deal with your child based on how the hell she feels and what she wants at that point in time. As long as you make it clear to that child, when that child gets older, you know, what you had to go through, in due time, it'll work itself out. But in the meantime, you cannot afford to go to prison or jail. You can't lose your job. You can't lose your marriage. You can't lose your household. So if you know this woman is going to provoke you or get you to a place in which you're really going to go off and go ham, just become a deadbeat to keep the peace. That's all you can do. If you can get that child a phone, some of them so nasty, they won't even let you get a child a phone, but you can only talk to the child. No, she wants you to come through her. If you know coming through her is going to make your life a living hell, listen. Let go, let God, pray about it. That's all you can do. You already know these courts ain't trying to hear what you men got to say. You know child support ain't trying to hear what you men got to say. Y'all know that. If she wants to spin that narrative that you a deadbeat, so be it. Whatever it takes to keep the peace in your household and your marriage. You got a business to handle. You got a wife. You got a family. You know, and that child is going to always be your child. It don't matter if she goes to Timbuktu or Switzerland. It does not matter. That child is going to be your child. And that's her karma. Her being nasty, vindictive, not being a part of that child's life the right way, not allowing you to be there, knowing you are in a position where you can. Guess what? That's her karma. She starts catching hell with that child, or she starts going through in her own personal life because of her own nastiness. So be it. And for you women who are doing this, realize that you are only making things more complicated for yourself. Because at the end of the day, these children need their fathers. Put your personal issues aside. Stop worrying about the house he living in, the car he driving, the woman he married to. Move on, sis. Sis, live your best life. Go get you a drink. Go find something else to do to get some of that evil off of you. Go get baptized so you get some of those wicked ass ways purged out of your system. So anyway, y'all, it is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, represent Mocha's Cafe de Paris, where I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. Anybody who uses my video, please give me my credit. Please give me my accolades. A lot of y'all been taking my videos and posting them in y'all videos, and y'all not even telling nobody nothing about my channel, my content. But anyway, y'all be blessed. I'm out.